I am joined by a development economist and a member of the defunct APC Presidential Campaign Council, Ayobami Oyalowo. We will be discussing the 2023 inauguration and matters arising. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, Mr. Oyalowo.
Thank you for having me. Good evening, and good evening, Nigerians.
All right, so before we get to business, let me congratulate you on attaining the age of 50. I know it was your birthday some weeks ago. Congratulations once again to you.
Thank you so very much. I appreciate that.
Starting with the countdown to the inauguration of a new government, which is just 21 days away. I mean, the reality is here, and we cannot just but continue to talk about the momentum ahead of this remarkable day. So, how will you describe the mood in the country now?
It's a great time to be alive. It's another wonderful time to be a Nigerian. The beauty of what has happened is that for the first time in the history of this current practice of democracy since we returned in 1999, we're going to be having a president who is actually prepared to be a president. We're going to have a president who prepared, who was ready, who has planned and has mapped out strategies to actually become a president. So we've had a lot of accidental presidents, from the one that was foisted, from the one that because somebody died they had to get in, from all manner of president, the one that was brought in from jail who really didn't have a plan. So for the first time we're going to have a president who was really prepared to be a president, who is prepared for one, someone who had been a governor, someone who had been a leader, who had been a mentor to a lot of leaders today that we have in Nigeria. So it's an exciting time because I think it's a good time for Nigeria, especially looking at what the world is going through, what Nigeria is going through. We've seen what is going on in Europe and in America in terms of the realignment of power. We are seeing what has happened in terms of the Ukraine war after the post-COVID experience. The economic realignment and rearmament is such that it's an opportunity for Nigeria now to key in and truly become a global leader, not just an African leader, but a global leader, a global player in both the political and economic power of the world. So clearly, I think it's a great time, and we are well positioned because for the first time we're having an arrowhead who has both the local and international contact, who has both the economic and political know-how. So it's a great time for Nigeria. Sincerely, anyone who is educated, who understands what is going on in the world, will know that an Asiwaju presidency will herald a great time, what you can call a renaissance for Nigeria. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm sure most other people are looking forward to it because we're going to be having a president who we believe will help to position Nigeria as a global power to be able to compete, because the world is moving to a new era and we cannot be left behind. And an Asiwaju presidency is clearly a presidency that will be able to move Nigeria into that space where we can begin to sit with the world power, where we can begin to sit and make our own demands and be respected for what we are, not just a giant of Africa, but a giant indeed all over the world.
Right. So now that attention has inevitably shifted to Inauguration Day on May 29, how will you describe the expectations of Nigerians?
The inauguration is to be taking place, I think, in about 21 days from now. In about 20 days from now. So Nigerians from all walk of life are getting ready. In fact, yesterday somebody contacted me that a group of Nigerians want because I wore that Asiwaju cap and it went viral, the picture went viral, and somebody contacted me that they need a number of it. I had to contact my tailor for them and put them together to be able to speak with each other. So people are getting ready. Another person contacted me yesterday. Ayo, please, is there an Asoebi for us to be worn on that day at the Eagle Square? So people are getting ready. People are excited because everyone knows that it's an exciting time. Everyone is looking forward to a reordering of the power that be in Nigeria. And I must say the current federal government has done its best. They have put in a committee that is planning for the inauguration, and I think the details are there for everyone to see. So people want to be a part of what is going on. At least I know a huge number of people who have contacted me. Ayo, please, help us to get card. We want to travel down from so and so. People want to come in from Lagos, from Ibadan, from everywhere, and they are waiting to get the card to be able to get into Eagle Square. So it is an exciting time. It is a time that people look forward to, and I believe that God will give us that day. There will be no rainfall. We'll have a clement weather, so that we can all sit down in Eagle Square and enjoy the display and the military parade that will follow on that day. So we are looking forward to it. And a lot of Nigerians that I'm aware of are also looking forward to that day of inauguration, where we'll have the current president, Muhammadu Buhari, pass the baton to the incoming president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
All right, Mr. Oyalowo, I mean, agreeably, some Nigerians are still miffed about the outcome of the presidential election. You know, today was just the inaugural takeoff of the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal. What do you have to say to such people?
You always have people who don't agree with what happens. It's a contest that any reasonable person going into a contest always is aware that two things are going to happen. One person will win, other people will lose. And the winner has emerged. Now, you also have two options. The first option is to congratulate the winner and pledge your loyalty to work together with the winner, or you decide not to agree and then you go to court. So those who have refused to accept the winning candidate have all the right to go to court, and they are exercising their right, and that is what Democrats should do. So going to court, it's a way of exercising your democratic right. However, just today, some party also pulled out of the legal issue, saying they have come to realize that, look, this man won and we're going to support it. So it's a mixed bag. Some will not agree, some will agree. The ones who have agreed will work with the winner and all, because on the long run, what do we all want? We want a Nigeria that works for everybody. So for those who have decided to work with the incoming president, we welcome them, we're happy with them. And for those who don't want to, who want to remain in court until they finally have made up their mind to, they finally have been cleared by the judiciary that they lost the election square and fair. I'm sure by the time the legal works starts, or the legal fireworks rather starts, their eyes will be open to the fact that they didn't win, and then they will come back to either support the president or go and start getting ready for another election. It is all their fundamental human right. However, we in the APC and we who support Asiwaju are not perturbed because we know we won the election fair and square. I dare say this is the most credible election we've had since 1999, because for the first time, you can't sit in the corner of your room and write results, because the beavers will expose you for overvoting. I've had a few people deliberately miseducate and misinform people that there should be no inauguration because there is a court case. And I think that is the most irresponsible thing to say. We will have the Supreme Court tomorrow, will issue or will give a final ruling on what happened in Osun State. But the governor that won the election, or that was declared by INEC, is still sitting there. Nobody is saying he shouldn't have been sworn in. We've had several elections in Nigeria that were contested. The current president today, President Muhammadu Buhari, lost election 3 times. He was in court or to the Supreme Court for all those 3 periods. And we never had anybody saying the winner should not be inaugurated. So I don't know where people are coming with this irresponsible and very undemocratic statement that there should be no inauguration because some people thought they won election where they didn't even get 25% in up to 24 states. So it is
Mr. Oyalowo, now that you've gone there,
it is not a democratic thing at all.
All right, now that you've gone there, now part of the issues that have caused these grievances is INEC and some discrepancies on its part. Now, don't you think not posting results on INEC's results viewing portal hurts the credibility of the election?
It's just a viewing portal, for heaven's sake. It is not the result portal. It's just a viewing portal. It is because we have a viewing portal that people are even making this noise. We didn't have that in the past election. We know how the former president, Yar'Adua, was declared. We know the kind of results that brought him in. For the first time, we're having a winner who did not have 20-something million votes because we couldn't sit anywhere and write result. This result reflects the wishes of the voters on the field. See, let me explain something to you. Every serious political party during the election has what you call field agents in every polling unit. Every agent, because I was trained as an agent who trained other agents, every agent has the election result in each polling unit. Each of those results were moved to the ward unit, to the ward, from the ward to the local government to the state. So if anybody have issues with it, let them present such result instead of muddling up the waters for the sake of everything that is reasonable. The second person in the election had just 21 states where he made 25%. He's not even making as much noise as the one who came third, who had only 16 states. And I can begin to break down how those elections came. So if you cannot win election in the core northern state of Zamfara, of Kaduna, of Kano, of Gombe, in Katsina and all those places, you can't even come second there. And then you are going around saying you won election because you won in a regional, in your region and a few Christian states. I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think that is fair on the winner, because the winner clearly won the state where he won, and he made, for the first time, he didn't just make 25% in 24 states as required by law. He made 25% in 30 states as required by law. So his winning margin is uncontestable. That is why we are preparing for the inauguration. We don't fear anything. We know that our result is the authentic result. And let me also tell you something. Sometimes ago, the third person that I say has been making more noise, his people came up with a plan to actually go through that same viewing portal, the IRF, and they were compiling the result. And when they started compiling, they started from their region, where I mean the third person's region. And when they compiled, they were winning there, they were all happy. But the moment they moved away from that region, they went to other places. It was glaring that Asiwaju won the election. They stopped the thing in the middle of the process themselves, checking from the viewing portal that they were making noise about. So see, let's stop disturbing ourselves. Honestly, I don't like talking about this issue because as far as I'm concerned, it is a dead issue. Asiwaju won election. Asiwaju will govern over Nigeria by the grace of the Almighty God for the next 4 years, and then we'll prepare for another election. So there is nothing to worry about for any reasonable people who have watched how things work. We will leave those who want to go to court to go to court. We'll leave those who want to continue to continue to complain. But I can tell you one thing. Asiwaju will be the president for everybody. He will be fair to all. He will be kind to all. And he will usher to Nigerians the dividend of democracy, and we will all be beneficiaries by the grace of God.
All right. So for future purposes, Mr. Yalawo, so you do not think that when the electoral umpire makes a promise, it has a duty to deliver on those promises?
The electoral umpire made a promise and said they don't have to view. But like I said, I don't really want to talk for INEC. I think an INEC officer or the head of INEC should be interviewed on this. But as for me, as for us, the election signifies or symbolizes what we had planned for. I was with the planning team a few days of the election, and when we looked at the result of what we expected, this election clearly mirrored what we thought was going to happen. And we saw it happen as we thought was going to happen. So, as for the umpire, he's in court to defend, or they are in court, that's INEC, they are in court to defend their action. I will rather not talk for them because I don't work for INEC. I have no business with INEC. My only business with it, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC. And if anybody have issue with the INEC, they can drag them to court or whatever. But for us, we won an election. We are happy we won. And like I said earlier on, Asiwaju will provide leadership for everybody. And I can assure you, every Nigerian will benefit from the good governance that Asiwaju will provide for Nigeria.
All right, so back to one of the issues we tried to talk about earlier, which is some Nigerians questioning the inauguration of a new president ahead of the conclusion of election petitions. Now, don't you think they have a point?
They don't have any point. Like I say, it's very silly, jejune, and unintelligent to even say that. I just gave you an example of Osun State. we the APC, we were the sitting government before the election, and we lost. And we didn't tell them not to inaugurate the PDP-led government before the conclusion of the case. Like I also gave you an example of what happened under Yar'Adua when he won a very controversial election led by a very controversial Maurice Iwu. We all know the story that went behind that. We all know in fact, the winner even said he was ashamed of the election that brought him to power. And nobody said do not inaugurate him. Rather, go to court and get it sorted. So why will this be the first time that anybody will say they should not inaugurate Asiwaju because there is a court case? If not because I'm on air, I have very choice languages to use for them. I will only hold myself because I'm on air. Because it does not make any sense to say don't inaugurate. So let me tell you, if you refuse to inaugurate the winner on the 29th, what will you do? You want to bring in the military? Or you want to do what exactly? Do you want to exist? Can Nigeria exist in a vacuum? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. And if anybody thinks they have a case, they shouldn't be afraid. Just present your case, and if you win, we've had election overturned. And the winner, the initial winner who were in office have been removed. It happened in Osun. It happened in so many other states where a sitting government, we have in Ekiti, where sitting governors were removed and the new governors were declared by the Supreme Court, and they went into the office. So if anybody thinks they have a genuine case, let them wait and win the election in court. We won the election free and fair.
All right.
And like I said, we have no fear of any court case. And if anybody thinks otherwise, then they should allow the natural system to take place. Any other thing aside from following the date as prescribed by law, what you are asking for is anarchy. And by the grace of God, we don't want anarchy in Nigeria. I don't think anybody should even be talking about stopping the inauguration before the court cases are concluded. What Nigeria should be saying is that we should have a window where court cases are dispensed with before the date that a handover should take place.
All right. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has made a lot of promises, and it is a fact that a lot of Nigerians are looking forward to that. You know, one of such promises is that he will take tough decisions in repositioning the country. What areas do you think he should focus on?
Well, I always say one person cannot solve all the problems of the world. And I will start with talking about his action when he was the governor of Lagos State. When he was the governor of Lagos State, he had a huge dream for Lagos. He ran with that vision. He got people around him to run with him on that vision. But he couldn't complete the journey. That is why when Governor Babatunde Fashola became governor, you remember his appellation was the actualizer. Many people don't remember that. Why was he called the actualizer? Because so many visions that Asiwaju could not conclude within 8 years, he began to actualize those dreams. So I will tell you what Asiwaju I think you should consider, but I'm only letting you understand that it's just 4 years. He can't solve all Nigerian problems in 4 years. But one thing Asiwaju is going to do is going to put in a template that will run for 4 years, and by the grace of God, if God give all of us life, for 8 years. Then whoever takes after him will be able to continue to actualize that vision. Now, that is to explain the kind of man Asiwaju is. Now, going into what he should do, one of the first things Asiwaju spoke about, if you listen to his acceptance speech, was his vision for the youth. We know we have a huge youth population. About 60 to 65% of our population is deemed to be between 18 to 35. And we also know that we have a huge youth unemployment pandemic. So he has said he will work for the Nigerian young people. And you see, many people didn't understand what he was talking about. And I'm going to break it down. When Asiwaju became governor of Lagos State, go back and check the records. Everyone who worked with him were young people. Today, all of them are leaders. Even the current governor of Lagos State is still in his 50s. So you can take back his age when he worked with Asiwaju, first as a special advisor, then to a commissioner. If you take that time away from his age, it tells you his age as at that time. So this is a man who has always had the vision of building young people. You remember Senator Akpabio said something about Asiwaju. He said he's a man who turned boys to men, and he wants to join him to turn boys to men. Asiwaju has a vision for Nigerian young people, And the vision for Nigerian young people is such that, one, they will become the biggest global player in terms of technology. In the tech world, he wants to help to build that capacity for our young people. And in education, he has said it clearly. He will ensure that we don't have ASUU strike again. And with that, there will be autonomy for the universities. And if you are in the university and you cannot afford to pay the fee, he has promised that we're going to have a system where you can have student loan to enable the indigent and not too rich students to go to university. And also for the young people too. Many people still don't understand that the credit system that he intends to pursue is for young people. You see, one of the challenges of young Nigerians is that they want to live the life that their mates in other countries are living. You are a young man, you need a house, you need electronics in your house, you need cars, you need things. You can't afford them, but you have steady income. What will Asiwaju do to help you? He will ensure that there's a credit system where you don't have to throw the whole money or go and steal in your office or commit a crime so you can buy or purchase a car. Rather, you can purchase a car on credit. You pay over a period of time. You can purchase electronics. You can purchase household goods. You can even buy a house. And you pay over a period of time. This is what developed countries do, how they are able to integrate their young people into the system. And you don't have to take 50, 100 million to go and buy a house. You don't have to take 10 million to go and buy a car. You just need to be able to. So first and foremost, it's going to help the young people to develop skills. It's going to help them in technology, and it's going to help them to be able to live a good life. Now, in the area of security, what many of us are not talking about is that security has improved greatly in Nigeria over the years because the outgoing government has helped in boosting the morale and equipping the military, the police, and everything. So what Asiwaju will do is to build on where we met, what he met on ground. And what Buhari met on ground, the outgoing government, is that we had two countries in a country. We have the Boko Haram country, then we have Nigeria country. Today we don't have Boko Haram country. What we have now is bandits and other things. And to a large extent, the bandits has been decimated. Of course, the news that heralded the bandits, they have pretended not to see that bandit activities have been greatly reduced. What I always tell people is that insecurity is a global phenomenon, and you will always have it morph from time to time. From we had terrorism to banditry to farmers and herders issues and Fulani headmen that people start shouting Fulani, Fulani everywhere, even though most of it were not the truth. However, what has happened is that these things have been greatly reduced. But because it doesn't suit the narrative of those who were peddling it, they are not talking about it. So Asiwaju has said he's going to equip the army, the military like Buhari has been doing. He's going to build on it. And we're going to employ more. You remember this government, when they came in, that's the Buhari government, they promised to employ 10,000 police every year. I think they have been able to do it only twice. So, which means we are under-policed. So what is going to happen is you're going to have more police so that you can be able to police our communities more effectively. And then in terms of the economy, oh my God, this man has such plans for Nigeria economy that I'm sure I cannot start over it. So I'm going to just gloss over it tonight because I don't have enough time. And I will gloss over it by saying, one, is looking at comparative advantage in each of the 6 geopolitical zones. And each geopolitical zone will be empowered to be able to compete with global players. Also, in terms of industrialization, what Asiwaju is going to do, we're going to incentivize companies. Instead of, let's use example, I'm just using a broad example now. Instead of going to bring Toyota to Nigeria, importing it and making it so expensive, you will incentivize Toyota to come start a company in Nigeria, to build their vehicles in Nigeria, so that, one, they will create jobs, they will pay taxes, and it will become cheaper. And from there, you can even become the West African or even the regional hub of Toyota manufacturing in Nigeria. So what Asiwaju has in stock is so huge. And in terms of agriculture, it's also looking at ensuring that we do not continue to be raw material producers. What do I mean by that? You cannot produce your agricultural product and export them in the raw form. You are losing so much wealth. What you are going to do is, whatever each product is used for, when you export them, you will bring in companies to Nigeria to produce such product, add value to it, so that you cannot become a net exporter. Let's use cocoa, for instance. Instead of exporting cocoa to let's say, Netherlands, and then they send you chocolate and beverages, why don't you complete the process here and then be the one to export it? So there are a lot of plans in terms of incentivizing companies and producers to make Nigeria a hub of production. So the economy will be looked into, it will be developed properly. And then one other big elephant in the room is subsidy. He has promised to remove subsidy so that we can have, we'll be able to free funds in other places. And finally, in terms of having dual exchange rate, he has said he's going to work with the people in the CBN and other places so that you can have a single exchange rate. Then you will be able to reduce the corruption and bottlenecks that has crept in, that make dollar to go as high as 700 and something in the black market. So all those things are things that have been. As I speak with you, there are teams working on ensuring that these things are implemented within a certain limit of period as soon as the man is sworn in. So it's an exciting time. Every area that is really critical will be covered, will be dealt with, and I can assure Nigerians, like I said earlier on, it's an exciting time for our economy, for our security, and for our young people.
Fantastic. That was robust. All right, we've been discussing the 2023 inauguration and matters arising with a development economist and a member of the defunct APC Presidential Campaign Council, Ayobami Oyalowo. This discussion continues after this break.